name is Florence Muleya, the Chief Executive Officer for the Zambia Association of Manufacturers. As an association, we are mandated to represent the interests of manufacturers in Zambia. We're looking to see the government enhance value addition in the country in different value chains, including textiles and garments, value chains including mineral processing, leather and leather products, as well as wood processing and poultry processing. We're also looking to see the government attract investment in areas such as textiles and garments, and this is because we have realized that we grow cotton we are the third largest producers of cotton in the Southern African region, but we are not able to move from cotton to value-added items such as clothes or even bed sheets and so on and so forth. So if the government can can include incentives for manufacturers of cotton that moves it from the raw material to cloth, to thread, and even to fabric, this will mean that we can have more players go into this particular sector and move our textiles and garments from one that exports raw material in form of cotton to exporting and growing items such as clothes, items such as bed sheets, and so on and so forth. Additionally, we're looking to the government to stabilize the cost of doing business in the country, and this we see through permits and licenses that are inflicted on the manufacturing sector. We have realized that for a small and medium enterprise to be able to thrive in this sector, they need to be formalized. But formalization means it's high cost for them, because just to be able to get a license, if you're a small manufacturer, you are paying something like close to over 50,000 in regulatory fees. And this is working capital for most of us in the country. So we are looking to the government to ensure that these licenses and permits could be rationalized and made more affordable, to ensure that more manufacturers can be able to produce business within the country. And aside from that, we are also looking to see more stabilized exchange rate, because what the exchange rate does is that it increases the cost of production. So if the exchange rate could be stabilized at an equilibrium rate that ensures that both importers and exporters are happy, it means that we will be able to enhance the value addition agenda that we are speaking to.
Thank you very much. My name is Rosetta Chabala, former MD for Zamefa, and now an entrepreneur. I also represent the Zambia Association of Manufacturers as a sector representative for agro processing. Really, the budget next week expectation, especially from the manufacturing industry and also specifically from the agriculture industry, is that this budget has to be a growth budget. It has to be a budget that will give room for private sector to expand and create those jobs that the government is looking for. But it should also be a budget that would be a baseline that would give us a future outlook of what the government intends to do with the private sector. We expect to see a lot of consistency in terms of policies that they undertake beginning this year into the next year. We want to see policies that stand a test of time. We want to see a bit of predictability. So what the budget will be talking to should be very clear in terms of the way forward that the government wants to take, and we should not have surprises thereafter. We've seen before where budgets have actually been prepared and some policy statements have been made, and within a few months those policy statements have been reversed. So we expect that the Ministry of Finance has done its homework, has consulted private sector extensively, and so that the things that will be contained in that budget will come with no surprise from the private sector. We are very expectant. We expect a few relief, and some of them should be actually tax relief from the for the private sector, because the private sector has been constrained. We're coming from a COVID constrained kind of production, and we can only try to take that leap and expand going forward. The country is suffering from a lot of things, and we think that the private sector is key. We do want the government to reinforce its promise to have a private sector-driven economy, and therefore most of what should be contained in that budget should be pro-private sector.
My name is Donna Mshanga. I am the CEO for Kamanga Wear. Kamanga Wear has been in existence for 11 years now, and we are a ready-to-wear brand that offers an alternative to mass-produced garments in Zambia. So we do chitenge clothes, but in everyday wear, so you can just walk into the shop and buy something straight from the rack. My expectations from this year's budget is that the new government will actually get to put in more of an investment into small businesses like us. For example, fashion across the board, Europe or South Africa is $1 million business that this government should look into. We have a lot of fashion designers in Zambia that are talented, but the platform is not giving us that opportunity to grow. So I hope in this year's budget, they will get to allocate some funds to help develop the fashion industry in Zambia. For example, if I am making garments right now, I make garments out of chitenge, but all the chitenge that I use is not made in Zambia. So the only stamp that I have on my clothes that this is Zambian made is because it was made by me. So there's factories that were already opened in Zambia that produced chitenge that shut down, Mulungushi Textiles, there's Kafue. If they can open that and start producing chitenges in Zambia, that will help the Zambian fashion industry grow internationally, because we can put a stamp on the chitenge that it's also Zambian made. So if we can, the government can put in money to open these factories and help more. I know they support arts, there's arts a bit, but arts also extends to fashion. I have been running this company for 11 years. I have not been employed by anybody. That is something that needs to be put in the education system, that there's potential career in fashion. So that needs to be looked into, and it should be introduced to schools. We don't all have to depend on the government to give us a job. We literally create jobs here on our own with fashion. So it needs to be put into the budget that funding should be allocated to developing the fashion industry in Zambia. It's very important. It's an opportunity that we're literally missing out on. So there's a lot that the government needs to help in that area to develop the fashion industry. It's $1 billion business opportunity. If we're going to grow this economy, fashion has to be one of the things that they have to invest into. We have a lot of talented people already. We have people that are already doing fashion. We just need the government to be there to help us grow and put in measures to protect the fashion industry in Zambia.
Never Sida Mwanza, nishitisha munyu Soweto market, ndashitisha fya pusana. Soti, saraula, zapato, mawigi. So, they represent my fellow marketeers. I am no new Soweto market. Ngefin tutumfiri okwebati. Pathetic budget ya national budget ili no kufuma. So ifo tulelo mbo kwebati. Nga ifo fema marketeers. Mushana ifo bakatusha pofie. Pantu ifo fema marketeers. Fingi tulekabira. Tatwa kwata makapi twaene. Bam tatwa kwata na ma shops. Na ma stand ya londolo katatwa kwata. So tulefo obuteko buloleke shepo padi ba marketeers. Bachula. Tuma capital ba kwata tu nono. Batuteko empower ba marketeers twa papata munyu don government. Eko tulelilila. Tu na pamisongo tulipila. Ama 5 kwacha tulipila every day. Twalimono kwe batiyali tukosela. Pantu muri item imoine. Tatushitisha pamukumo fyapwa limit turashitisha fya about 3 na 4 days. But nishi among those 4 days nishi muleli pila ma 5 kwacha. Of which tapari profit into marketia asanga mo. So tulelomba bakanso bakatuloleshisheko bali bamarketeers bakatufumisheko umutengo bakatuchefesheko umutengo bakatuchefesheko umutengo walidula ukasanga kuti uleshitisha omusalu isaka lya musalu limo line ashitishamu bamulipilisha 5 kwacha uyo musalu taulepwa the same time na mailo kesa konkanyapo ukushitisha omusalu na tomato na kabili bale mulipilisha 5 kwacha. So please twapapata muline 5 kwacha iyi ntwasangilemo alayila kona ku toilet na kwena bala mulipilisha 2 kwacha ng'ombe yo 2 kwacha alebula pala pene ugesanga kwa ati marketeers ngainuka takubali nezintu alea nashitira abana bakwe kunganda kabili shonse shipwirire bwi mumisonko echo tulelombo buteko please mwe buteko twapapata we wanted this government for a change na ifu fwe ba marketeers tulefu a change tutusheko kuli ifyonse fifya Msangwe.
Hi, my name is Lillian Van Royen, a young lady entrepreneur here in Lusaka, Zambia. I own a bar and a car wash. In this year's 2022 budget, I want to, my expectations are that it's going to be in favor of us business people, in small businesses, especially young ladies. I urge you to support one another. You know, there are challenges in business, whereas in working, especially in the field of alcohol, you meet different kinds of people, and then you find the profit is low, but we keep on pushing and moving because at the end of the day, we need to meet up our ends. We need to learn to encourage one another and support one another's businesses. Either way, whether you run a bar, you run a restaurant, be vigilant in whatever you're doing and be focused. I urge all young women not to give up on their goals. It doesn't matter how much profit you gain or how much capital you put in. What matters is your focus and your passion. You need to have a goal of what you want. You're going to be a better person tomorrow. Looking into the 2022 budget, the national budget for 2022, I hope it's going to be in favor of youths and young ladies mostly of nowadays. You know, we are facing a lot of challenges. There's early marriages. There is also, you know, the early pregnancies, you know, all those are challenges that we face. And as a woman, I'll take it up to me to support another woman's business because looking at the challenges that we face, you find you've got a child with someone and they're not able to support that child. So it's better with the little that you earn, you're able to give your child an education that they deserve. The economy is really bad that we're facing a lot of challenges business-wise, work-wise, you know, with the way the rates are going, the dollar today is high, tomorrow it's low. It's really frustrating in business, but we just want to support one another as young women to say, let's be strong and we hope for a better tomorrow and hope that we're going to be included in the national budget for the 2022.